to Carolina.
Proud to be a South Carolina Farmer is a new series highlighting the backbone of America, farmers. We'll be traveling through the Low Country's back roads to show you an up-close and personal view of their day-to-day lives. Farming is not just a job for these families, it is a way of life.
Let's go to Carolina, because it's starting.
Every day brings new light to help us on our way. Always taking my breath, whether sun or rain. The wind will carry us over, that horizon we see is getting closer. This is why we live, for moments like this. This is why we live, for moments like this. For moments like this. This is why we live. This is why we live.
The program here at Ashley Ridge started not too long after the school itself opened. The farm, Fox Ridge Farm, we were established since 2017, and that kind of came to be because we had some students who wanted animals, and we happened to know someone who had recently gotten a potbelly pig for their classroom, and we decided, hey, we're gonna do that too. That sounds like fun. So one potbelly pig turned into 2, which turned into 4. Then someone gave us a goat, and then we got rid of that goat, then got 4 more, and now we have 50, 60 goats and a whole slew of other animals. But the farm itself really started back in 2017, very, very small. At that point, we only had a very tiny area beside our classroom. But at the end of that school year, we decided, hey, let's kind of move everything down. Everything on this side of the school, it's 10 acres, belongs to the Ashley Ridge Agriculture Department. And so what you can see behind us, we have our barn. There's about 7 or 8 different pastures that we use for different animals and rotational grazing. We used to do more of horticulture, but we kind of started to get away from that when the students were wanting more of the animal production aspect. We're starting to pick back up with horticulture and doing more stuff in our greenhouses and our shade houses, building some planter boxes and whatnot. But as far as the farm goes, we're mainly known for raising our goats and our cooney pigs. Sometimes we do have those discussions about cause and effect. Like for instance, the price of fertilizer and how fertilizer prices are going up, price of corn's going up, price of our feed's going up. And so we do have some of these discussions, but one of the things too that I think is most important when we're talking about students in agriculture is just to make them aware. There's a lot of kids, and especially kind of where we're at in our area, where they've never seen livestock. We bring out a goat and they're like, oh my gosh, it's a goat. They've never had opportunities. So for us, while everything that's going on in the world right now is super important, having people have experiences is also just as important to us. And so one of the things we actually do, we have elementary school field trips every spring and every fall. And so we'll send out flyers, information to the surrounding schools in Charleston, Dorchester, and Berkeley County, and they'll pick dates that they can come out, and they'll bring their whole grades. And so they'll come out here, our students in our agribusiness classes, in our farm animal classes, ag science classes, usually it's those 3, they lead those field trips. So they get to come out and just have a fun, about 4-hour field trip out here at the farm while learning about agriculture and the different animals that we have. So for us, we have a number of different ways that our kids will come out. The kids you see behind us are co-op students, so they're actually getting paid to come out here, usually 8 to 12. They have a certain number of hours that they can work, but they'll come out here and do just various chores around the farm, such as feeding, if we need to give medicine, if we need to work on fences. Our well went out last week, so they've been maintaining that. And so they'll come out, get paid, but we'll also have students come out and volunteer. We have some who just want to come. They don't have this kind of stuff in their neighborhoods and their subdivisions, and so they like to come, get out here, kind of have the freedom to roam. They know what they're doing, so they can go in with the goats, they can go in with the pigs, but also they're kind of our eyes and ears. We have some students and families who really have taken a knack for figuring out, like, oh, something doesn't look right. What do I need to do? Who do I need to contact to make this better? So we do have some of those families, but we also have students who can come out and earn what's called FFA hours for us. FFA, Future Farmers of America, we require within our classroom 10 hours per semester. And so some of these students will be getting a jump start on their hours. It ties into their grade, it's intercurricular. So they'll come out. In about 2 weeks, we're having a program for our ag kids. It's a 4-day program, and so they'll come out, and if they come and help, they can also earn their hours. And it's a lot of doing kind of the same stuff: farm maintenance, feeding, checking over animals, building whatever we need, that kind of stuff.
Subscribe to our channel, PEARLtvsc, so you don't miss a single episode of Proud to be a South Carolina Farmer.
Proud to be a South Carolina Farmer is made possible by Stokes Automotive Group, Zaxby's, Holy City Brewing Company, Joye Law Firm, just call Joy.
Carolina, Carolina.
When people think of a lawyer, they picture someone in a flashy suit and a stuffy office. Well, here's a picture for you. This is where I grew up. It wasn't always easy, but I'm proud of my humble roots. It's where I learned to work through the tough times and appreciate what I had. At the Joye Law Firm, we're helping people going through tough times of their own. If you've been injured, call the law firm that understands what you're going through. Just call Joy, 843-888-8888.
Hey, this is Chris Brown from Holy City Brewing in North Charleston, and we are excited to be a sponsor of Proud to be a South Carolina Farmer.
Hell yeah! I don't care, it's a double dare. I ain't scared, you best beware, you best beware. Hell
The cows that we have, we try to keep a variety of different smaller framed cattle. We currently have belted Galloway, miniature Hereford, and then some miniature crosses. We try to stay on the beefy side of the animals, cattle perspective. We want to go shorter and smaller, but still beef productive animals. And so that's why we've really focused in on the mini Herefords, the belted Galloways, and then we keep a couple of different animals out here just to kind of see how they would handle being in our area. We've got a small pasture area for most of our animals, so we like to keep the smaller frame. They're a little easier to handle, and it allows us to carry more than if we went with the standard breed cow. Maybe we only have 3 or 4 cows, whereas now we have 5 or 6. They are noisy, so it's feeding time. So everybody's making their plea that they should be first in line. just like kids at home getting to the dinner table. But we have a variety of goats. We have Nigerian dwarf, which are the small. One of the biggest things that we sell them for, their babies, are for just pets. People like to keep the Nigerian dwarf as pets, have a few of them in their backyard or in a small pasture somewhere. They're very colorful, they're very easygoing, they're very friendly. We socialize ours with our students, and so when they leave here, they're ready to go. They're looking for somebody to be a friend with. We also milk them. They're a dairy breed, which keeps them a little slighter in frame. We also carry a couple of Nubians, which are the ones with the long floppy ears. We do the same thing. They're here for, we try to milk them just as an educational piece. We don't do a whole lot with those other than just keep enough to be able to educate our students on the standard breed versus the miniature breed of the goats. Well, we're getting to that. So we have boar goats as well. So we have really upped our breeding program for our boar goats, which is a meat goat. And the goal being that we're going to be able to provide at least a small amount of goat meat every year. We have 3 wethers right now that we're raising up from last year's kids that we're raising up that hopefully will be ready for butcher in a few more months. But we're excited about that. Just something new. We've never tried it, but goat is the #1 meat eaten in the world. Not necessarily in the United States, but in the world, if we're looking globally, goat's the #1 consumed meat on the planet. So, being able to have access to that and be able to provide that, I think is educational and also something that we can grow from. But we do have sheep as well. We have Jacob sheep. They are one of the longest, longest heritage, animals out there. It traces back, the Jacob sheep trace back to all the way to Genesis, where Jacob took sheep from his father-in-law, and he picked the spotted sheep from his father-in-law's herd, and so those are Jacob sheep. And the story is that you can trace them back at least slightly back to that original herd in Genesis. So it's pretty neat. They have 2-horn, 4-horn, but we keep a small herd of them. It's a really cool thing when we start working with those. Sheep and goats, while they are both small ruminants, they are very, very different in how you care for them, how they interact with people. The sheep just generally they're not very social, whereas the goats, man, they want to be in your lap. So it's a whole different animal to deal with, figuratively and literally.
Hey, I'm Carrie with Zaxby's, and we're proud to be sponsors of the South Carolina Farmers.
We took our signature sandwich and cranked it up to 11. With bacon and cheese, it's the new Signature Club, remixed by Zaxby.
Subscribe to our channel, PEARLtvsc, so you don't miss a single episode of Proud to be a South Carolina Farmer.
Proud to be a South Carolina Farmer is made possible by Stokes Automotive Group, Zaxby's, Holy City Brewing Company, Joye Law Firm, just call Joy.
Carolina,
Hi, I'm Eddie Stokes with Stokes Automotive Group, and we are excited to be a sponsor for Proud to be a South Carolina Farmer.
lunch dates and coffee.
So one way that you can, as a consumer, help local farms is, and this happened a lot about 5, 6, maybe 10 years ago, you saw a lot of CSAs pop up, which is community supported agriculture. And we're seeing a lot more of that in the meat world as well, because there are small technicalities that you can work through. One would be, if you've heard of people buying beef shares. which is very common right now, where you work with a local farmer and say, hey, I want to buy a half a beef or a whole beef or a quarter beef, whatever. What you're doing is you and that farmer are working together, and they are purchasing that animal on the hoof. So they are purchasing a quarter of that animal on the hoof. And then as the farmer, I agree to take that animal to the processor, and then whether some people do it differently. Some people have you as the consumer go pick it up from the processor and it's put in your name. And so then again, you have only purchased a portion of that animal, but you never bought the meat. So you're not buying meat, they're not selling meat, they're selling the animal. And you can buy the animal legally. You just can't buy the meat if it's gone through a certain processor or whatever. So that allows you the opportunity to be able to get meat, get a large amount of meat, and you get it at a better price than you would if you went to the grocery store or something along those lines, or straight to a butcher store, or butcher shop, not a butcher store. So that's one of the things that we're trying to do as well, is working with our community, working with local farmers. We have a following somewhat on social media. We try to be the go-between. We're working with a local farmer this fall that is having trouble selling at a price that he thinks his cattle are worth. And so what we've done with him, if we partner with him, and in the fall, we're going to be doing beef shares in the fall on 3 Angus steers that are from his farm, raised on his farm, but he's partnering with us. We're going to do kind of a cost sharing type thing where we help him find the customers and help him take care of everything. We'll do all the sorting, we'll do all that right there, and then work with him to be able to bring those two communities together. Almost everything has a name, because you got to have something to be able to identify what you're talking about. And the students learn the names, but just because it has a name doesn't mean that it doesn't also have a purpose. We name all of our animals, and then when they go, like, hey, this is, like we had a steer named Zombie, and when Zombie came back, hey, here's Zombie, this is him. And then we had the classes go through and sort the meat. They get to see all the different cuts. They get to see the amount that comes from that animal. So it's a really great educational process to be able to take that animal, they see it leave, and then a month later they see it come back in the packaging, and then they're able to see what each one of those cuts looks like, see what amount of meat came off of that animal. And we talk about the numbers, we talk about what it cost, we talk about how much hanging weight was and what hanging weight is, and then we talk about the actual product that we get back. In the second Saturday in March, we have this coming year, 2023, will be our 5th year of hosting the Foxtival. We had some students a few years back that were like, hey, we want to do a fall festival. And before then, before the Foxtival ever existed, anytime you try to do an event out here that did not involve athletics, it pretty much was a dud. And so instead of saying, hey, let's try to throw something together real fast for a fall festival where everybody's got fall festivals going on, we said, let's look at something for a kickoff to spring. And so we spent about 5 months planning and putting things together. We're like, all right, this is either going to be a one and done, or it's going to be the best thing that we've ever done. And it'll be happening every year. So we're on our 5th one, so you can guess which one that turned out to be. But we do games, we have ag exhibitions, a community. It's a full-on community event, a lot of families, a lot of kids. We do carnival games, we have plant sales, we have the farms open, we bring in vendors. It's a really cool event, like I say, just to kind of kick off the spring. This year, we had some bad weather in the forecast, so we ended up moving everything inside and had just enough good weather to be able to do inside and outside. But it's probably our most successful event yet, even though it had the fewest people show up. So we're looking forward to next year to getting back on our normal thing, but usually we have between 1,000 and 2,000 people come out and hang out with us.
Be sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel, PEARLtvsc, and enjoy all of the episodes of Proud to be a South Carolina Farmer. And don't forget to support the farmers in your community year-round.
Proud to be a South Carolina Farmer is made possible by Stokes Automotive Group, Zaxby's, Holy City Brewing Company, Joye Law Firm. Just call Joye.
Carolina,
When people think of a lawyer, they picture someone in a flashy suit and a stuffy office. Well, here's a picture for you. This is where I grew up. It wasn't always easy, but I'm proud of my humble roots. It's where I learned to work through the tough times and appreciate what I had. At the Joye Law Firm, we're helping people going through tough times of their own. If you've been injured, call the law firm that understands what you're going through. Just call Joye, 843-888-8888.